Hello and welcome to Western Cinema Presents. Today's feature is The Lone Ranger from 2013, starring Johnny Depp, Elle Hammer, William Fichtner, Tom Wilkinson, Ruth Wilson, Helena Bonham Carter, James Dale, directed by Gore Verbinski, who also directed the first couple of pirate movie films. How you doing, deleted scenes?
Well, fair to partly cloudy. How about yourself, Bill?
Yeah, it's sunny and with clouds in the sky. We might get rain. We don't know.
Yeah, we've been having some on and off as well. All right. Well, the movie, by request of a certain someone who appears to not be in the chat at the moment, is The Lone Ranger from 2013. Rated PG-13, runtime 2.5 hours. Native American warrior Tonto recounts the untold tales that transformed John Reed, a man of the law, to a legend of justice. So over the course of the film, we're going to be talking about past incarnations of the Lone Ranger. And very interesting backstory into the real life inspiration for the character. And all right, I'm just going to put this out there. This film was not very well reviewed.
No, it was not.
And I have not seen this movie. I stayed away from it. So this is going to be a first watch for me. This is either going to be one where, just kind of speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for Bill here. This is just me speaking for myself. This is either going to be a riff fest or or I'm going to find out that this movie was severely underrated. I don't know. But I'm going to give it due diligence. I am going to give this movie a chance today, folks. And we will go from there. We've got a couple of controversial leads here as well. So that may play into things. I don't know. We'll see. And either way, in the end, this show is an entertainment show.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you a fun program. That's why we're here, folks. Think of this as a commentary on a DVD. That's what we're doing. A commentary track on a DVD. That's what we're doing. And so for those of you who, later on in the comments want to go, oh, thumbs down when there's no movie. Shut up. Where's the movie? We can't show this in America. This is a YouTube guideline. If we were in India or some places in Europe, we would be able to play the movie to our heart's content, but we're not. We're in the U.S., and the copyright laws are a little more stringent here. So my advice would be, if you're not happy and you want to see the movie, we want to bring you the movie, folks, but we're not allowed to do it live. So the best thing to do, if you are watching live, would be to follow along with us on Cosme. The link is at the top of the chat, both the chats, since we are simulcasting. If you wish to follow along with your own personal copy of the film, you can also do that. This movie is available on streaming on several of the streaming platforms.
Tubi and Pluto, I believe.
Fandango. I keep wanting to say .com. Fandango at home, which is where we get most of the movies that we air. So yeah, if it's like we want to bring this to you, certain rules keep us from doing so, from actually showing the film on screen live. My advice would be to contact YouTube and ask them to be either less stringent with the rules or change them completely. And we as content creators here on this platform would certainly be fine with that, because otherwise we would, there would be watermarks all over the screen. You wouldn't be able to see it. We would have to turn the audio off every, I think, 8 seconds. It would, short of making this a slideshow,
Yeah.
which we would prefer not to have to do. Yeah, that's that. So think of this as a commentary on a DVD. And like I said, I've I've heard some very, shall we say, mixed things about this film, but I'm going to give it its due diligence today, folks. Bill, have you seen this previously, or
No, I haven't seen it since it was brand new and when it came out, and all them years ago, 2013.
All right.
It's been about that long.
This was a requested film, so we are going to air it today. I do want to really quickly, before we get started, say hello to a few people who've joined us in the chat. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube, a member for 19 months, Connie Cleary.
Thank you, Connie.
Host of Films with Friends, the creator of the 10-word review, Big Al Presents. I'll be joining Al this Friday at 7 as we honor the late Commander Jim Lovell by watching Apollo 13. So join us there at 7 p.m. on Friday night. Friend of the channel, Andrea Black. Tune the news in the house. Our favorite Snortopoopus Cuber. Friend of the channel, Enigma Severus. My stalker and channel member, Lady VOC.
Lady V.
All right. I think that is everybody who is currently in the chat. So please join us over at the Cosme Room, and we will get the film started.
Hello, Andrea Black. There we go.
Walt Disney logo. Ray Bruckheimer production. San Francisco, 1933. Golden Gate Bridge under construction. You have a young boy dressed as the Lone Ranger. Of course, Johnny Depp here also is the older Tonto. Yeah, if you hold your dang fire.
Not a good trade. A dead mouse for popcorn. That's not a good trade. Imusabi.
Well, I'll tell you.
And we're off.
Colby, Texas, 1869. Welcome, FKHE 2005. Sometimes known as Tim. On his possibly last time in the chat before a possible channel ban. We will see.
Hail, Tim, FKHC 2005.
Tom Wilkinson. Helena Bonham Carter.
Hail to Gambit 1987.
Buffalo. Time anywhere as far as the eye can see. It's supposed to be Texas, Tim. Ah, jeez.
Now you done it.
Gang's all here. Ruth Wilson, who Luther fans might recognize. Damien Thornton, Western years. Well, hopefully not. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a bird in a cage. It's not the same thing.
He's humming that pig Latin.
Too late now. Too late. Ah, criminy.
He threw away the damn keys. He threw away the damn keys. We're about 19 minutes into the feature.
Yeah. Slight change of plan. Yeah. Nah. Yeah, criminy.
Hey, Jeff.
Duck season, rabbit season, fire! Ow! Yeah. Oh, whoops.
Him.
You're going for a ride. Ooh. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah, but that's gonna stop a locomotive like that.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Uh
Oh, shit. Oh. Uh-oh. You're kind of making it look. Oh, okay, never mind. Yep. James Badgedale playing Dan. I actually remember seeing him first as a kid actor in Lord of the Flies. They did an adaptation in like the late 80s, early 90s, which honestly I didn't think was all that good, but it wasn't his fault. I thought he was kind of the best part of it. Of course, since then he was on the HBO miniseries The Pacific. He was on 24 for a couple of seasons, and if you can find it, a movie called The Empty Man, which I thought was pretty interesting. Didn't get very much play, but
Is Monument Valley, which is half in Arizona and half in Utah.
one thing you might want to do, use RNG and greetings. You might want to just refresh. That's usually the best way. Uh, Hello to Daniel's Hot Topics. And this is the first time watch for him as well.
Hello, Daniel.
Gambit asking if we've seen the 81 version. Yes, I have. I liked it back in the day when I first saw it. And then I saw it again later on and realized, yeah, this movie actually isn't all that good. So, and Christopher Lloyd actually played Cavendish in that version. And he's probably the best part of that movie.
I'll do a quick refresh of the Cosme. Bear with us. I'm going to do a quick little thing so I make sure you guys can see.
I was seeing and hearing just fine on my end. So if anybody else was having any issues, let us know. "33 minutes, 53 seconds into the film. Absolutely not trusting this guy.
Ah,
Mm.
well, that wasn't good.
Well, I will say one difference between the 81 version and this is it took the previous version about 10 minutes to get to this point. So this movie has certainly taken its time. Not for long.
You got a pretty man. Making to know what the hell. I'm not dead yet. Well, mostly dead. I'm not dead.
Worn
I'm
out.
not. I'm not dead yet. There you go, Tim. Halfwit. The horse doesn't agree. The horse has made up his mind.
Yeah. Why? All right.
He's dragging. He's alive, but he's dragging him. His head can hit every rock. Oh. Oh no!
Yeah.
Yes, it's horse poo poo.
Oh.
It's a long way down. How the hell did I get up here? You should have took that right turn to Albuquerque.
It's no ordinary rabbit. Indigo.
What the heck? Those rabbits aren't normal. They're not normal. They're vampire rabbits.
What is he? Damn werewolf?
Yes, so. I'm picturing uh, what's his name from Quentin Tarantino from that Adam Sandler movie.
Little Nicky.
Yeah, she got one leg. Where's Rocket? I'm gonna get that leg.
This is going to be another mineral rights movie, isn't it? That's not a thing. Pretty sure that's not a thing.
The horse just burped. Don't say it. Don't say it. Something ain't gonna be right. Yeah, that didn't work. Our timestamp is 1 hour, 7 minutes, 25 seconds. Hi ho, doer. Oopsie.
Hell, woman, I expect you to kill him for this.
Horse dead. No shit.
Literal track. Which, of course, was the plan.
That wooden trestle bridge is still is an act based on an actual bridge. It still stands to this day. Uh-oh. Did it, Kevin?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. Yeah, they're not here for you. Oh boy. Yeah.
Lots of scorpions.
Gee, thanks.
No way.
Of course.
They stole from Goonies. Ew. No, no, no.
Well, something's in there. Oh,
I should have seen that coming. Our timestamp is 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 4 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid so, kid. You may want to duck. I'm pretty sure that guy will. Oh no. Devil's breath. Damn it. He's back where he started. You think? Figured he was going to be here somewhere. Better celebrate now, boys, because your bridge ain't going to be here much longer. Mm-hmm. When did this turn into the Webby blood? Ladies.
Shot him in the ass. Now, what part of hostile takeover did you not understand? Why? Never mind. Don't tell me. I don't need to know. Eh, Bam. Oh! Stampede!
Hi-oh, sure.
Oh, oh, hell no. Oh, no.
He dances with shovel.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
boy.
boy.
Oh no.
Oh. Riding on a train wasn't bound for glory. Riding on a train bound for hell. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh, survived that one. Not today, Satan. Nice. Officer Hanson, Jump Street Station. Yeah.
He going for a ride. I find that highly illogical. Hmm.
Just like that. Oh, come on. It's fun.
Well, we made it through! Woohoo! All right, all right. Hey, Lady Mist, you made it. Would you like to consult the scrolls?
All right. Well, before I do that, some other actors who have played the Lone Ranger through the years across various mediums. The most well known are from the original 1949 television series. Clayton Moore portrayed the Lone Ranger for the first two seasons, 1949 to 52, and returned for the final seasons, 54 through 57. He became strongly identified with the character and continued making public appearances as the Lone Ranger for 40 years after the show ended. He even faced a legal battle over the right to wear the mask in public. He's the only person with the character's name on his Hollywood Walk of Fame star, which reads Clayton Moore, the Lone Ranger. Moore passed away in 1999. John Hart replaced Moore in season 3, 1953 to 54, due to a contract dispute. After leaving the show, he continued to act in films and television, often in supporting roles in westerns. He made a cameo appearance as a newspaper editor in the 1981 film The Legend of the Lone Ranger. He also reprised his role as the Lone Ranger in an episode of Happy Days in 1982. He died from dementia in 2009. Other actors who played the Lone Ranger include Chad Michael Murray, who starred in a 2003 pilot episode for a potential new television series that was not produced. He's known for roles in One Tree Hill, A Cinderella Story, and Mother and Bride. He's also set to reprise his role in the Freaky Friday sequel, currently out in theaters. All right, we have our cut scene here, folks. as old man Tonto walks off into the sunset here, I'll finish the rest of this. Armie Hammer portrayed the Lone Ranger in the 2013 Disney film The Lone Ranger. He also appeared in films like Call Me By Your Name and The Social Network. However, his career was impacted by various allegations, leading to a break from acting. Additional actors who have played the Lone Ranger, especially in earlier radio broadcasts and test broadcasts: John L. Barrett on WEBR Radio, January 1933. George Seaton, January 31st to May 9th, 1933. James Jewell for one episode. Jack Deeds for one episode. Earl Grasser played the role on the radio from May 16th, 1933 to April 7th, 1941, after which he died in a car accident. He was replaced the following week by Brace Beamer, who ended the series. He had been this show's deep-voiced announcer. And Fred Foy, March 29th, 1954, from one broadcast, and Brace Beamer had laryngitis. All right, moving on. All right. There was another Lone Ranger who's often said to have been the first on-screen Lone Ranger by the name of Lee Powell. But he was reported killed in 1944 during the war. Some say he was killed in action. Others said that he died of acute moonshine poisoning. All right. Going to read off a quick other little tidbit here before we get to the trivia. The inspiration for the Lone Ranger was Bass Reeves. He was a former slave and a deputy U.S. Marshal who became a legendary lawman in the Indian Territory, now present-day Oklahoma. Known for his bravery and tracking skills, Reeves served for 32 years and was so feared that outlaws posted warnings specifically for him. Though illiterate, he memorized warrants and was said to have never arrested the wrong person. He was born July 1838 in Crawford County, Arizona, and died in Muskogee, Oklahoma, January 12th, 1910. And look into the life of Bass Reeves. He's really quite an interesting character. There's even a television show about him that was created by Taylor Sheridan, the creator of the Yellowstone TV series. So give that a look. All right, moving on. The Lone Ranger 2013 was released 4th of July weekend at a budget of $215 million, going on to gross over $260 million worldwide. Was nominated for 2 Academy Awards of visual effects and makeup. Filming locations include Creede, Colorado, Albuquerque Studios, 5650 University Boulevard, Southeast Albuquerque, New Mexico, Monument Valley, Utah, and Arizona, Moab, Utah, Canyon de Chelly National Monument in Arizona, Sunland, Los Angeles, California, Hurley, New Mexico, Angel Fire, New Mexico, Lone Pine, California, there's a place in New Mexico that I can't pronounce. Pardon. Shiprock, New Mexico, Santa Anita Park and Racetrack, 285 West Huntington Drive, Arcadia, California, Kayenta, Arizona, Dead Horse Point State Park, Utah, Alamosa, Colorado, Preco Valley, New Mexico, and of course Texas, but it doesn't say exactly where. Filming dates start February 13th, 2012, and ended in July of 2012. On to the trivia. Andrea Riceborough and Sarah Gaden were auditioned for roles. Jessica Chastain and Abby Cornish were considered for the role of Rebecca Reed, but lost out to Ruth Wilson. Johnny Depp's makeup and costume were inspired by artist Kirby Sattler's painting I Am Crow. The original Lone Ranger radio serials led to a spin-off radio serial, The Green Hornet. The title character's alter ego, Britt Reed, was John Reed's great-nephew. Tom Wilkinson, who played the evil Mayor Cole, appeared in the remake of The Green Hornet. Tonto means fool in Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese. In Spanish versions of this film, Tonto is renamed Toro, which means bull. The first film cinematographer Bojan Bozelli has shot on anamorphic lenses since Body Snatchers. This is the first version of The Lone Ranger in any medium in which the actor playing Tonto receives top billing. First version of The Lone Ranger to be released on IMAX, as well as the first to receive a PG-13 rating. Well, I mean, it also helps that PG-13 wasn't a thing in 1981, so there you go. This is the 7th Disney film to receive a PG-13 rating under the banner in the United States. The previous films were Pirates of the Caribbean, Krista Black Pearl, and its sequels, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, and John Carter, Mars. In an interview, Johnny Depp thanked his stunt horse Scout for saving his life after a violent fall during filming. After Scout dragged Depp 25 feet, Scout jumped over him to avoid stepping on him. A clip of the fall shows the horse clearly jumping over Depp and detaching him from the saddle. Depp suffered only minor bruises and scrapes, but said it could have been a lot worse if the horse had stepped on him. Though set in Colby, Texas, the film includes obvious shots of Monument Valley, Utah, and Arizona. Favorite filming location for American director John Ford. According to Wikipedia, Ford's evocative use of the territory for his westerns has defined the images of the American West so powerfully that Orson Welles once said that other filmmakers refused to shoot in the region out of fears of plagiarism. Early in the film, one of the Texas Rangers refers to Redleggers. They were anti-slavery advocates who later became a Union cavalry unit. Their uniforms substituted red ribbons on their blue pants for the yellow stripes of the U.S. Cavalry. They were also called Jayhawkers. The Jayhawk became the mascot for the University of Kansas. They fought primarily against the pro-slavery, quote-unquote, border ruffians. Texas was principally Southern and joined Confederacy. The book that John Reed calls his Bible is the Two Treatises of Government by John Locke, a 17th century English social scientist. The musical cue in the shot of Red sitting under the painting of a ballerina is a swan theme from Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. As an homage to John Ford, the scene that introduces John Reed features passengers singing "Shall We Gather at the River." It was Ford's favorite hymn and included in at least 5 of his movies. The Lone Ranger comments that it's been 9 years since he last fired his gun. The movie was shot 2012, 9 years since the Lone Ranger's most recent television appearance. Johnny Depp played Raphael, a Native American, in The Brave, his directorial debut. It was never released in the U.S. due to bad reviews at Cannes. In an interview with Vulture magazine, Jerry Bruckheimer said, "I think it's going to be looked back on as a brave, wonderful film. I've been through this a lot with journalists. We made a movie years ago called Flashdance, and I remember one young journalist giving us the worst review ever. Then about 5 years later, we get this kind of love letter that he, quote, totally missed it, that he loved the movie, and it's kind of the same with you, that at any time it's on, you have to watch it. It happens, you know." Gore Verbinski, Jerry Bruckheimer, Armie Hammer, and Johnny Depp openly criticized Americans' critics' reviews. Depp said the reviews were written 7 to 8 months before we released the film. Bruckheimer felt the film was overlooked and that critics were reviewing the budget, not reviewing the movie. Armie Hammer said, "If you go back and read the negative reviews, most of them aren't about the content of the movie, but more what's behind it. It's got to the point with American critics that if you're not as smart as Plato, you're stupid. That seems a sad way to live your life. While we were making it, we knew people were gunning for it. I think it was the popular thing when the movie hit rocky terrain. They jumped on the bandwagon and tried to bash it. They tried to do the same thing with World War Z. It didn't work. The movie was successful. Instead, they slit the jugular of our movie." During the opening sequence of the bank robbery, the music in the background is the William Tell Overture by Rossini. It's played extensively in the film's climax. It was the musical cue used in the original radio show and later films, particularly for intense sequences. It became so popular that people know it only as the Lone Ranger theme. The fairground organ music during the opening 1933 San Francisco scene is taken from a recording made on the Wurlitzer Theater pipe organ of the Blackpool Tower Ballroom in England. The Wild West sideshow where young Will meets the elderly Tonto is called The Thrilling Days of Yesteryear. The opening narration of the original Lone Ranger radio program invited listeners to return with us to the thrilling days of yesteryear. The frame story where young Will meets the old Tonto takes place in 1933, the year of the first Lone Ranger radio broadcast. The plot was originally supposed to focus more on supernatural elements and Native American mysticism. It included werewolves. Yeah, I brought that up, right? Which explained the silver bullets. However, this draft was supposedly part of a $250 million proposal that Disney quickly canceled after John Carter bombed. When the project was revamped to meet Disney's approval, it was more like the current script. During the opening train scene, as John Reed tries to break free from the chains, he said, "That's reinforced Bethlehem steel." The steel company he names was founded by Augustus Wallabine in 1857 as the Socona Iron Company. On May 1st, 1861, the company name changed to the Bethlehem Iron Company. In 1899, the name changed to Bethlehem Steel Company. The company built many products used in the U.S. infrastructure and created many wartime products as well. Sand's theme from Once Upon a Time in Mexico is credited to Tonto's Giant Nuts. It's actually written by Johnny Depp, who invented the name as a joke. Despite popular rumor, it is not the name of his band. The beginning of the movie, we see several close-ups of the confection bag that the boy drops, then later trades with the aged Tonto for a mouse. Clearly seen as an elephant in the words "fresh roasted peanuts," all in red ink on the bag. Later, when Tonto is remembering burying the slain Rangers, he trades the Rangers with the pictures of dance hall girls, the same empty confection bag. So make of that what you will. This is the second movie starring Johnny Depp in which the line "stupid white man" is used by a Native American character. Although this time the line is cleaned up for a Disney movie. The other movie in which the line is used is "dead man," which we've done here on the show. In that movie, the line is said by Gary Farmer is "stupid fucking white man." The film was nearly canceled due to obstacles during production, including bad weather, wildfires, a chickenpox outbreak, and a crew member's accidental death. The music played at the fairground at the very start is "The Bladen Races" by George Ridley, a famous Geordie folk song. The exploding bridge scene is very similar to the one in the bridge on the River Kwai, in which Allied POWs make a plan to sabotage their Japanese captors by blowing up a bridge during World War II. Quentin Tarantino named this movie as one of his 10 favorite films of 2013. At the beginning of the movie, when Latham Cole looks at his pocket watch, there are faint chimes heard in the background, an homage to Lee Van Cleef's pocket watch, and for a few dollars more. The scene at the Waterwell is a combination of two scenes in Once Upon a Time in the West. An early scene in which killers arrive at a remote farm, and a later scene in which a defender appears. In both, the insects stop chirping to signal the arrival. Many scenes in the movie pay homage to well-known films. For example, Once Upon a Time in the West, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and for a few dollars more. The Indiana Jones franchise, Back to the Future Part 3, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and many of John Ford's films shot in Monument Valley. In March of 2002, Columbia Pictures announced their intention to make a Lone Ranger film with Classic Media, who owned the film rights at the time. Husband and wife producers Douglas Wick and Lucy Fisher joined the project. The tone was to be similar to The Mask of Zorro. The Columbia suggested that Tonto be rewritten as a female love interest. The projected budget was set at nearly $70 million. David Webb Peoples and Janet Peoples were hired to write the script the following year, which was rewritten by Leda Calogridis. Jonathan Mostow was attached to direct by early 2005, but Columbia placed the film in turnaround. The Weinstein Company was interested in purchasing the film rights from Classic Media in 2007, but the deal fell apart when Entertainment Rights eventually optioned the property. Mike Newell was then considered to direct. Disney delayed production of the film due to budget concerns because Cowboys and Aliens had underperformed. To minimize the film's overall cost, Gore Verbinski, Jerry Bruckheimer, Johnny Depp, and Armie Hammer equally deferred 20% of their salaries. Several cast members had to receive formal training on horseback riding, gunslinging, and lassoing. After filming was finished, the trains used in the movie were donated to the Fillmore and Western Railway in California. In April 2012, it was announced that Jack White was hired to compose the score for the film. White later declined to work on the film's music, citing scheduling conflicts. Although Armie Hammer plays the title role, Johnny Depp gets top billing and was the focus of the marketing. For the train scene seen in the film, a large oval-shaped track had to be built near Albuquerque, New Mexico, to have rail lines that went north, south, east, and west. There were a total of 6 railroad locations in the film, but the oval was the largest. All the work was done by the Gandy Dancer Railroad and Excavating Services, who brought in $3,889,425 of 33-foot rail bars and places and ties from Blythe, California. The whole rail line had to be removed after filming was completed because the rail line had no outside interchange. The locomotives and rolling stock seen in the film were all built in a machine shop in Pleasant Valley, California. You okay, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the 2 locomotives, a 460 or 10-wheeler, was used in the beginning of the film and then was renovated into the Constitution locomotive seen later in the film. The other locomotive, a 440 American, was based on the Central Pacific Jupiter that was on hand for the real Golden Spike ceremony up on Promontory Point. For easy movement, the locomotives and rail cars were built in the same fashion as shipping containers so they could be added and removed from their chassis and then transported on flatbed trucks. This method was also used in part of the train chase scene that took place in the mountains, since they could not build any railroad tracks up in the mountains. Each of the two steam locomotives used in the film had a pair of 1,000 HP Cummins diesel engines in its tender that supplied power and movement, and where hydraulic hoses connected the engines to the tender. Each train was operated by a computer inside the cab, but the real locomotive engineer had to be in the cab to control the brakes and override the computers in case of emergency. The smoke and steam were visual effects. The trains used in the film could reach 30 miles per hour, which was the standard speed for locomotives during that era. An EMDSW 1500 diesel switcher was used for the scenes that did not show the steam locomotives. Beginning in November 2013, the Autry National Center exhibited the costumes Armie Hammer and Johnny Depp wore in the film through a loan from the Walt Disney Archives. In September 2014, studio president Alan Bergman was asked at a conference if Disney had been able to partially recoup its losses on this film and John Carter through subsequent release windows or other monetization methods, and he responded, "I'm going to answer that question honestly and tell you no. It didn't get that much better. We did lose that much money on those movies." The film was defeated at the box office by Despicable Me 2. Despite the producers citing the presence of an advisor from the Comanche Nation, some debated the advisability of casting Johnny Depp as a Native American and whether the film would represent a positive and accurate representation of the Comanche. Depp has stated he believes he has Native American ancestry, possibly from a great-grandmother. He has said that he considered the role a personal attempt to try to right the wrongs of the past, in reference to portrayals of Native American culture in the media. Todd McDaniels, a linguist at the Comanche Nation College, commented favorably on Johnny Depp's attempts to speak Comanche, a language with 23 to 30 living native speakers. The words were there. The pronunciation was shaky, but adequate. Even the boys' cap gun holster set is a period accurate Keystone set made by the San Francisco Company as early as the 1930s, when the Golden Gate Bridge was being built. The film takes place in 1869 and 1933. Johnny Depp was 2 hours late to the script read-through because he had wanted to read in full makeup and costume at the Albuquerque Studios production office. During the scene where the last spike is driven, the song Stars and Stripes Forever is heard being played, despite the fact that the song was written in 1897, several years after this movie takes place. Was criticized for casting a Caucasian actor, Johnny Depp, for the role of a Native American, as well as the overuse and exaggerated use of war paint to portray Native Americans. When Rebecca is having a sip from her well right before the fake Comanche attack, the scene mirrors the attack on the McBain property in Sergio Leone's classic Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. In that film, McBain, too, is sipping from a small cup from his well, and is alerted to hidden intruders by the instantaneous silence of birds. The musical score is also quite similar. American Humane Association monitored the animal action. No animals were harmed. AHAD 03788. This is the first and only collaboration of Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter not to be from a Tim Burton directed or produced film. The Constitution strongly resembles Illinois Central Railroad number 382, the very same locomotive that Casey Jones drove on that fateful night in 1900. The only difference is that the Constitution has a rounded top firebox instead of a square-shaped Bell Bear firebox like on the 382. This is the second Johnny Depp movie where an optical illusion of a bird in a cage is played as a child's toy. This trick was previously used in Sleepy Hollow. Though they share the same last name and are in the same movie, there is no evidence to suggest that Armie Hammer and Travis Hammer are related. Armie has only one brother named Victor, and Armie is 2 years older than him. This is the second Lone Ranger film nominated for the Razzie Award for Worst Picture. The Legend of the Lone Ranger was nominated 32 years earlier. Neither film won the award. The movie loosely resembles the ceremony driving the Golden Spike near Promontory Point, Utah. In the movie, it ends with a chase where two railroad tracks run side by side for a decent length. Any railroad would only build one track with a short side track here and there. How this movie actually resembles the Golden Spike is that the two railroad companies actually met but kept building. On Google Maps, you will see two tracks that run parallel, but not just next to each other, for quite a few miles east of the ceremony point, being as they were paid for each mile built. Union Pacific bought the western half of the new track and quickly abandoned the duplicate tracks. Their first feature film to shoot with a production model of the Arri Alexa studio camera, which cinematographer Bojan Bosley wanted to use for its 4x3 sensor, because it was the only Alexa camera with a rotating mirror shutter and optical viewfinder. The sole prototype model of the studio was being used by Roger Deakins to shoot Skyfall. So Bosley had to wait several months for the production model to officially be released. Tom Wilkinson's character, Cole, in this film spoke to John Reed, referring to a Lone Ranger as some sort of ghost. Wilkinson's character in The Patriot 2000 spoke of Mel Gibson's Avenging Benjamin Martin character as some sort of ghost as well. The mask that the Lone Ranger wears in this movie appears to be green, a foreshadowing that he is the great uncle of the Green Hornet Reed. Didn't look green to me, but okay. When Tonto and John arrive at the Hall of Human Deformities, the Barker says, "Fun and educational for you, sir." This mirrors what the Barker at the carnival from the prologue says to little boy, "Fun and educational for you." In all previous versions of the story, Kimosabi was just a made-up Indian word which meant nothing, although there are various explanations of what it might mean. The film defines it as wrong brother, as Tonto was hoping John's more capable brother Dan would be at his side. Despite the lengthy scene taking place in a brothel, the word prostitute is never used, likely due to this film being released by Disney. The first theatrically released version of the character since William A. Fraker's equally ill-fated The Legend of the Lone Ranger 32 years earlier. The meaning in the original series of Kimosabi was Trusty Scout, according to Season 1, Episode 2. Armie Hammer recalled that the production budget was so extravagant that when needing to coach Tom Wilkinson on how to flip his pocket watch and chain, the world's best yo-yo expert was flown in to teach Wilkinson and continued to be on call during filming. Costing $225 million, this was the most expensive film of 2013, tied with Man of Steel. It was Gore Verbinski's third film to be the most expensive of the year, after Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and At World's End. Robert Rodriguez was once considered to direct. Tom Wilkinson played the Lone Ranger's nephew James Reed in The Green Hornet, 2011. The final locomotive chase is an homage to Buster Keaton's The General. So it's the 236th live-action film produced by Disney. In the original radio series, Butch Cavendish and his men ambushed 6 Texas Rangers in the canyon called Bryan's Gap. The lead ranger, Dan Reed, held the rank of captain, and his brother John was already a Texas Ranger. The 25th anniversary radio episode identified the other dead Rangers as Jim Bates, Sam Cooper, Jack Stacy, and Joe Brent. Near the film's climax, crates of explosives are visible with the Giant Powder Company of San Francisco's logo. The company was the United States' first licensed manufacturer of dynamite. One of the Rangers waiting at the train station has, quote, a redneck toothpick in his mouth. It's actually a bacallum, an animal penile bone, most likely from a raccoon. Okay. All right. Whatever you're into, pal. Tonto later makes a trade while burying the man. Besides the musical reference to Rossini's William Tell Overture, there are at least 2 operatic plot references. The magic bullet, which can never miss, is a plot device in Weber's Der Freischutz. And the silver returning to the river whence it came is a reference to the closing of Wagner's Die Götterdämmerung, aka Lord of the Rings, different Lord of the Rings people, where the Rheingold returns to the river. The scene where the train rolls off the blown-out bridge is just like the train sequence in Back to the Future Part 3, where the overpowered train rolls off the unfinished bridge into the ravine below. During the train robbery near the end, the colonel is shooting at Tonto. The bullets hit on time with the William Tell Overture being played in the background. Gil Birmingham, who played Red Knee, appeared in the TV movie Lone Ranger in 2003. During the beginning scene where Tonto meets the boy, he is given a bag of peanuts to eat. Later, when he is telling the story of the film, Tonto is burying one of the cowboys near the beginning and gives them each a gift. One of them is given an empty peanut bag he got in the future from the boy, a nod to Tonto's mystical abilities. Tonto retells the main story in 1933. The main story is set in 1869, a time gap of 64 years. During the main story, he says he's been hunting the bad guy for 23 years, the minute he killed his tribe. That happened when he was around 10 or so, give or take a couple of years. That makes young Tonto around 31 to 35 years old, and old Tonto around 95 to 99. All right. That is it. The scrolls are closed. Thank you, Lady Mist. And Connie Clary. And Lady V had to go. Hope you enjoyed the show. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that was The Lone Ranger. I didn't think it was like a bad film. I just thought it was too long. The budget, I think, was probably the main issue. I don't think there was any real way that this movie was going to get its money back. You know, and like they said, you know, the critics were really kind of out to get this movie before it came out, you know. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means. I don't think it's bad. You know,
no, there's been worse movies.
I've seen far worse. I've seen far better. Like I said, my main issue is that I think it's too long. The budget was way more than it needed to be. they should have done maybe something that was a little more scaled back, a little more grounded, maybe. Um, that's my final score on it. I didn't hate it. Not the best.
Really,
Not the
not
best
that
movie I've ever
terrible.
seen. Not, and it wasn't trying to be. So yeah, it's what it is.
Yep.
I you know a fine afternoon movie when you got nothing to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
Later, Lady Mist. Thank you for
Take
dropping
care.
in.
All right. Well, I do want to once again thank Connie Cleary for the member chat earlier in the show.
Yes.
I do want to thank those of you who joined us here in the chat. Of course, FKHC 2005. He pretty much spearheaded this.
Yes, he did.
I also want to say hello again to Big Al Presents, Connie Cleary, Andrea Black, Tune the News, Snorta Pupus Q Burr, Lady V, of course, Gambit 1987, Daniel's Hot Topics, Usarn G, and I think that was everybody who was with us in the main chat. And of course, there are always a few people who are lurking. Perfectly fine. You don't have to engage with the chat, just as long as you enjoy the show. Hit the like, share out the stream, say hello in the comments, and all that good stuff.
You're welcome, Connie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And of course, if you are new to our channels, we do this show every week, at usually at around 4. And Bill is the creator and host. I'm the trusty sidekick. And we will return next week.
Yep. For maybe Forsaken or something else. We'll figure it out.
Oh yeah. That's one we've been talking about doing for a while. So yeah. We definitely have plenty more coming up for you, including hopefully some a little later on in the year, some public domain films that hopefully YouTube will allow us to air without hitting us for music copyright, which is another issue. I do want to remind everybody once again, this was a commentary-only program. We are not allowed by YouTube to show the movie to you live. If we were in other parts of the world, we would. However, there are copyright guidelines. We do follow them. And we don't want to get sued by Jerry Bruckheimer. So
yeah,
so we want Jerry Bruckheimer to like us. We like his films. Please like us, Jerry Bruckheimer. We're fans. So yeah, that's why we had to air the film on Cosme. The film, like we said, is available on Fandango at home, as well as several of the streaming platforms, including Pluto and Tubi. So it can be found there if you want to sync up with us if you find this broadcast after the fact. So, all right. Excuse me. That's pretty much all I've got. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Enjoyed the trivia, the little tidbits. I of course first became aware of the Lone Ranger through the Clayton Moore Jay Silverheels TV series. So in the comments, let us know when you first became aware of the Lone Ranger. Is it on television? Here one of the original radio broadcast first. Who knows? Did you see this movie or one of the other films first? I didn't know before today that there was a 2003 version.
Neither did I.
So I gotta track that down.
Yeah.
Might be here somewhere. Who knows? And if we can find it, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll air it. As for the 1981 version, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask for more money.
Yeah.
Because I will rip the shit out of it. This one I really didn't feel the need to. Like I said, I have issues with it, but I didn't think it was like one of the worst movies ever or anything by any means. So, all right. Bit of housekeeping. Sorry, go ahead, Bill, please.
We got Yo Jimbo coming up on Thursday, Action Theater. Yo Jimbo.
All right. And here in about 15 minutes will be my program Unscripted. It's episode 118. And I am going to be talking about the pros and cons of AI. That will be the precursor to Geeky Geezers over on Age Boomer's channel. And I'll be in the chat there. And then later on tonight, Boomer will be joining me as my guest on Reserved Seats. 12:05 a.m. Eastern, 11:05 Central. Tomorrow is Mystery Movie Night. So I will be reviewing whatever that film may be. Tuesday night at 7 for the Mystery Movie Night podcast. Right after that, we'll be live from Sparkwood in 21, where we're going to be delving into the Psych episode Dual Spires, which was the homage to Twin Peaks. So we're going to be watching that. And let's see. Thursday, as Bill said, Action Theater, Yo Jimbo. That'll be at 4:30 Eastern. Followed that night, later on that night, by Coming Attractions, where I'll let everybody know where I'm going to be for the next week. I did see Weapons last night. A review will be upcoming, probably sometime tomorrow afternoon, because I don't think I'm going to have time to get to it tonight. I don't know. I might. I'll either do it at 11 tonight or tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned to my community page, and I'll let everybody know. So I got that review coming up. I've also recently seen The Naked Gun, so I'm going to review that. And so stay tuned, because there's going to be some surprises coming up. And as I always say at the end of every show, thank you all very much for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. And from HQ. and all our second home office in Arizona and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe and healthy. What should I say? Get a smarter horse. Don't steal silver from people. Just, because this is how we win. There we go.
Be aware of a vampire rabbit. Be excellent. Be excellent to each other. Party on. We'll see you on the next one. Later, folks.
That's no ordinary rabbit. The rabbit's got a meat streak a mile wide. Look at the bones.